dive into a topic called ethics, but I'm going to approach it from a little bit different way. We're going to do it as a group project. I'll be assigning you to be a member of a group of 3, maybe 4, as you go through. And so we're going to focus on the creation of a memo from the CEO of your company. I want you to discuss the concept, and the memo will be, number 1 is to create a memo, and I'll give you the definition of what it's about, but you'll see it also in Canvas. The next step, the next project after this ends up being turning this into a social media post. It's pretty common for a CEO to delegate the writing of a memo to somebody else in the process. And it also gives you an opportunity, if you're that person, to show your skill set to the CEO in the process. So with that, we talk about the memo, first of all, being inward facing. By inward facing, that means the employees inside the organization will be seeing it. So what elements need to be captured and what elements need to be avoided? Those are things for you to sit down there and start applying the lessons you've learned so far. Make certain you go through the process that you want to do the 3 different ways. Remember what that means is you get the idea, you create a draft, and then you edit as you go through. So your CEO has heard that your group has gained expertise to develop clear communication skills because you took this class and you're the smart person. Yes, your CEO wants you to draft a memo for all the employees, and it's going to be about ethics in the workplace with a commitment to maintain the consumer's trust, to act honestly to shareholders, to treat each other with dignity and respect, and to do fairly with business partners. Now, just so you know, on the background, I am deliberately leaving it vague into your imagination, but just by saying the fact that the CEO wants you to focus on maintain consumers' trust, to act honestly to shareholders, treat each other with dignity and respect, and deal fairly, it sure sounds like the new CEO wants to distance himself from the past CEO who may not have been trustworthy, may not have been honest, may not have treated people well or treated them fairly. But you can't say that because of the fact if you say that in the memo, on this inward-facing memo to the employees of the organization, that former CEO might sue the CEO and the company and maybe you for writing it. So you don't want to say that the last CEO was pretty corrupt and a pretty nasty character. No, you don't say that in your memo, but you do sit down and talk about big aspirations. And really, if it really goes too long, more than 2 or 3 paragraphs, you've overdone it. So this should be direct to the point, except for the fact it should be conciliatory. And you want to use the process we learned of pre-write, draft, and then revise and send it out. Remember, your audience, know that there's a secondary audience out there watching what's going to be said, and also include with them what's in it for me. Okay, that should always be part of your memo because you want to have the recipient buying into your project. So make certain that you create a memo. You are the person drafting the memo for the CEO. The new CEO wants to look good, wants to connect with employees, but it wants to distance the company from something that happened in the past. And you want to have this be a philosophical, it's what we call a 30,000-foot level. Now, the project after this then takes the same topic and we're going to turn it into an outward-facing memo, but that'll be the next project after this. In the meantime, focus on this one. You're going to focus, first of all, on creating a group of people you've never met before, and I'm going to put them in arbitrarily and random in the process, and you're going to work to make certain you get along. If not, I'll be screening out as to what happens, any comments, and maybe doing some personal calls or whatever when it comes down by email to make sure we're all making sure we're contributing equally. That's a big deal to me. So this is your first group project in 100% asynchronous class. And so you get to work together on it, and it should be no longer than 3 paragraphs, 1 page maximum for a memo of this sort. So it's going to be from the CEO. You're going to use the 3-part process: pre-write, draft, and then revise the memo, and then sit down and submit it to me for grading for this project. Take care.